as you mentioned, my great grandfather Ingersoll Lockwood played a major part in the U.S. time travel project. I'm taking you there,
Yeah.
and and he was sent by Abraham Lincoln to be the ambassador to Germany, and Lincoln was contacted in a dream at that time and told to give Ingersoll Lockwood a message and put it in a sealed letter. Lincoln complied and he gave it to Ingersoll, and he told him to give it to a young man who was living in Karlstadt, Bavaria,
Bavaria. Wow.
and his name was Fredrick Trump.
Okay.
And then, okay, so after Lockwood returned to the U.S., then he began to write his Baron Trump books. That sets the stage for what I'm going to share with you today. Okay?
Yeah, but tell us the year. Can you tell us the year of when the Lockwood book came out?
The year that was in the late part of the 1800s, year, somewhere right around 1895.
Yeah, about
Okay?
1895. And what was the name of the book?
The Marvelous Adventures of Little Baron Trump and his dog Bulger.
God, that's amazing. And my daughter actually brought this to my attention before I ever met you. That's not a coincidence. That in itself is something.
Well,
Don't
let
you
me
think?
continue. Let me continue. As
Yes.
I've mentioned on your past shows,
Yeah.
uh, the proto technology of time travel came from the inventor Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
And documents and working models of his time experiments were taken by the FBI after Tesla passed. That was on January 7th of 1943.
Okay.
Okay, so the feds gave Tesla's work to a brilliant professor of physics at MIT named Dr. John Trump. Okay,
Okay.
so you're putting all this together now.
Now, and
Um,
John Trump was the uncle
yes,
to
he was he was our president's uncle. Yeah,
yeah
Donald Trump's uncle. And
Fred's brother.
yes,
Okay.
so the feds asked Trump to determine if Tesla's work could aid the U.S. military in their war effort. They were in the middle of World War II at the time,
Right.
and so in the trove of inventions were drawings and models of teleportation devices and time time travel devices. Okay, so the teleportation device used something called radiant energy, and it was made of a blending of different wavelengths of amplified light. It glowed between two elliptical metallic booms, and the shimmering light actually had the capacity to bend time and space. So, the fruits of Tesla's work were manifested in a government project called Project Pegasus. Have you ever heard of that, Dave?
No.
Okay, so Dr. John Trump took the leading role in this Pegasus program, and it fell under the agency known as DARPA, which stands for Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. So uh, this Pegasus program was a great success and actually did rudimentary time travel on two levels. The first level was communication um, with the future, and the second level actually led to a type of holographic device which allowed mission specialists to travel virtually, first of all, into different time zones. And eventually, it developed into a device which transported objects. And, and finally, human beings into different time periods. Now, as Project Pegasus advanced, its primary mission became the transference of important information about the past and the future to the U.S. president, who, of course, shared it with the intelligence community and the U.S. military.
That was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, wasn't it?
Yeah, at the time,
At
yes.
the time, yeah, okay.
And then the project involved a total, listen to this, of 140 children who went on to become America's first generation of time travelers.
Okay, so when was it known that an actual human being could be a time traveler? You said they were using space aliens that didn't have as thick of blood as humans, right?
Right,
Are we
right.
then?
Well, let me continue because this is the only
Yeah,
way we'll put it all together.
good.
So one of the early Pegasus projects was called Operation Lincoln, and it actually attempted to prevent the assassination of President Lincoln by interjecting people and new elements into his time frame. The hope was
Oh,
that even minute changes in the time frame could alter the outcome of his assassination. So a young boy was chosen for this mission, and his name was Andrew Basiago, Basiago. And Andrew was interjected multiple times into President Lincoln's near assassination time frame. He was
yeah.
sent. He was sent to the Ford Theater on the evening of President Lincoln's assassination. Um, so when the first intervention failed, the president was shot. He was sent there a second time, and in fact, he was sent there 5 times. And Andrew said later on that he ran into himself twice, which frightened the yeah, which frightened the wits out of him. You know, here he's seeing his own self. Every trip that Andrew made to the Ford Theater was slightly different than the others, and so the scientists believe that he might have been sent into alternate realities that branched off of our own timeline.
This is so
Now,
Back to the Future. This
yeah,
is, and that's
now,
connected to this.
now,
That the movie Back to the Future is connected to all this.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And Dave, these trial voyages took place from 1968 to 1972. I got my facts right now.
Okay.
Uh, Andrew Basiago didn't tell about his experience until the year 2004 when he came out and he actually made a press conference. He figured it was time. And he even has a picture of himself as a child in a crowd that was listening to a Lincoln speech. I thought that was amazing. Like one of the very early pictures.
I mean, did he go as a child?
He did.
How was a child supposed to prevent a catastrophe like the Lincoln
Just
assassination?
just by his being in the time frame, it was thought that it would be altered. The
Okay.
event would be altered. So, and that didn't work out. So today, the Pegasus project has turned into like a communication um, between various organizations in the far future. Okay, that's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's controlled by the United States, even though some other like rogue nations are conducting parallel research.
Wow.
Um, and the future groups that we communicate are actually our benefactors. That's what we were talking about. They're
Uh-huh.
both observers and guardians. Our ancestors would probably call them angels, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, how long has this been going on in history?
sit, well, let me go
You
on, and
said
you'll see.
our grandparents or something. I mean, so how long has this been going on? I
Okay,
mean,
well, if I can continue, you'll understand.
yeah.
Um, our ancestors would call them angels, but that's what I was referring to. Their ongoing mission is to make sure that humanity is not attacked by other civilizations in our galaxy and outside of our galaxy.
Uh-huh.
They're, they're, they actually created an iron dome around Earth's entire timeline.
An Iron Dome. Now we're talking about Israel.
Now we're talking about Earth.
Earth.
Because, yeah.
An Iron Dome.
Exactly. Around our entire.
To keep out the other planets crashing in, and
to keep out other civilizations from doing us harm.
Okay.
And
so
that's where.
How do we know there are other civilizations? How do we figure that out?
Well, we've been told about it. Now that's where President Reagan got his idea for his space defense initiative.
Sure.
And that led to Israel's Iron Dome.
Yeah.
So this all connects.
Because Joe Biden said it was stupid. Okay.
Well, Joe Biden's stupid.
Yeah. There's no time that Joe Biden would be relevant to anything good, in my opinion.
By the way, Joe Biden, the Biden administration, is not privy to any of this.
Well, okay. Well, who is privy to it?
Well, right now there's a scientific community, in the United States that guards this very, very well, and you find them in our science labs like Argonne National Lab and Los Alamos and yes, there is an Area 51.
Okay, so, now listen, I've got my next guesses ready to go, and if you want to hang out with him, his name is Jeff Zink, and he's going to be.
No, I've met him before. Yes.
Have you met him before?
Yes.
In which year was it? 1800 or?
On your program.
On the program. All right. Well, we're going to get him on. Kinesiologist, master of the forensic audit for elections, son of Ryan, convicted of felonies in the 1-6 fraud, then dropped after SCOTUS ruling, but still has to spend some time in jail. He is the Republican candidate for Maricopa County in Arizona. Please welcome to this conference here with Mr. Lockhart, Jeff Zink. Jeff, how are you? Listening to this?
Oh yeah, I caught the very tail end of it. We've been on the phone a lot. We have some things that are going on in North and South Carolina. Asheville is prominently what's been going on. I've got some friends that are out there, and literally saying that the federal government is taking their land, their homes, and the thing is, in South Carolina.
South Carolina, really?
Yeah. So the thing is that they're doing very similar to what they did in Hawaii, where they had the disaster that took place there. They were blocking people off. They have the National Guard. So we have a lot of people that are on their way out there to see firsthand what's going on and trying to help these people. They're going to get boats. They're going to get out there and start salvaging, the lives they had. One of the things that's really disgusting. We had a friend that had a helicopter, and they went out and they said that while they were flying over, they flew over numerous people that were waving at them, begging them to save them and stuff. And they said that they went and they saved one person. They were going to go back and because the weight issue on their helicopter. So they only got one person. They said they were going to come back, and the sheriff there at that county said that if they took off, that they would arrest them. That they could not do that.
I heard this yesterday or somewhere that they were arresting people trying to get out of the hurricane's damage.
Right. So, the problem that we're having is we have a government that is completely out of control. That's one of the reasons why It's so important that we get elected officials that are going to sit down and start working for the people. Our government has now been turned and weaponized against us. So we need to sit down and we need to start getting people who, have, as my Jewish friends say, the chutzpah to, stand up against them.